What's going on YouTube? My name is Chris and welcome to ImmodderNation. So today's video starts with a problem. And before I get to the problem, let's start at the beginning. So recently I just purchased a Wii U in 2017. Don't judge me. I know you're doing that thing with your eye. I know you're judging me. Some of you may even know that I'm a really big fan of Mario Maker, and so I wanted to be able to play it on the Wii U console. You might even know that I have a couple Mario Maker episodes on my YouTube channel, and you can watch these videos by clicking on the card in the upper right corner. Now, once I got my Wii U, I was really excited to go ahead and load up a bunch of games on it. Let's face it, physical media is for casuals. I like the ability to load the media from the disc onto the console itself. And the Wii U comes with 32 gigabytes of internal storage, which I thought was enough until I started loading my games up on it. Then I realized that 32 gigabytes was only enough for 3 games. A lot of games come with updates, they come with DLCs, then you have game storage, and before you know it, you can only load 3 games onto a 32 gigabyte system. Thankfully, Nintendo came up with a solution. They can attach an external drive, such as a thumb drive or a USB, to the back of your console, and you can store more games onto that. The problem with attaching an external drive is now you've got this umbilical cord attached to the back of your console that has to go wherever you go. And I like taking my consoles with me. So I decided to cut the cord and go with USB. Now, USB sounds like it could be a good solution because there are many small USBs that can fit in the back and they're low profile, so you don't have to worry about hitting anything. There are still 2 problems with it. Number 1, you can lose the USB drive out of the back of your system. And when you do that, you've lost all of your games. Number 2 is that you could hit the USB drive on something and it could break off inside of the USB port, in which case you lose all your games. In either scenario, you're gonna have a bad time. I like the idea of USB storage because it's smaller and more portable than physical hard drives. Plus, you could take it with you anywhere. Even at USB 2.0, it's still faster than the internal storage. I had to come up with a way to keep a USB drive installed to my system, but somehow install it inside of the system in order to keep it safe. And that's where we begin with this video. I'm gonna show you how to increase the internal storage of your Wii U console. A good portion of this video is going to be me showing you how to take apart the Wii U. If you want to skip to the actual USB part, feel free to do so. You're going to need 2 types of screwdrivers. One is a Phillips precision screwdriver. The other is a tri-wing screwdriver. Both of these can be found by clicking on the links in the video description below. I don't recommend leaving the screws around as they can easily be lost. Now, you can either put them in a magnetic parts tray or you can attach them to a piece of tape. Be sure to keep in mind where the screws go because there will be a lot of them in this teardown. Do not forget to remove the battery from the side. This is the battery that retains the settings when you turn your system off. It's kind of like a BIOS battery for your motherboard, but instead of a computer, it's for your Wii U. And no, that white stuff is not what you think it is, all right? Let me explain. I was polishing my I was waxing my... You know what? Never mind. After you pull the top off, you can see the inside of the Wii U. That big gray thing towards the front is your CD drive, and the silver metallic thing towards the middle is the CPU cooler. First order of business is getting the front panel off. There are a series of screws on both sides to remove. I'm removing the ribbon cable that connects the front panel buttons. Tear any of these cables and you can say hello to your newest oversized paperweight. Whoops! Looks like somebody forgot to remove his SD card. Don't be like me. Remove your SD card before you start tearing the Wii U apart. This is the part where you'll wish you had listened to me and carefully labeled where all of your screws go. Now is a good time to mention that if you have any other questions pertaining to the teardown of the Wii U, you could check out the link in the video description. There it'll take you to ifixit.com where you'll be provided with a full guide including pictures and descriptions. Do you like my up-close action cam shots? I'm trying something new with these close-up shots. Let me know what you think. And we have liftoff of the CD drive, that is. Next, we'll be removing the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth antennas. There are small clips that hold them in place, so make sure you are careful when you remove them. Next, we'll be removing the fan. There are 2 Phillips screws holding it in place. Also, don't forget to remove the fan header. Next, I'll be removing the black processor shroud. This otherwise useless looking piece of plastic actually directs air away from the processor and out the back of the system. If you're not already exhausted by now, we have more screws to remove. What a surprise. Still not as bad as any Apple product. At least Nintendo uses screws. The processor heatsink protector slides back and up. With all the screws removed, the metal sheet should lift right off. A quick overhead view of the board. And now we can finally remove the bottom part of the case. 4 screws are the only thing stopping you from removing that metal backplate. Don't yank, twist.
That's what she said.
And there's your Wii U motherboard in all of its glory. 8 minutes into YouTube and chill, and he finally does a mod. For storage, I'm using a 128GB SanDisk Cruiser Glide USB thumb drive. Yeah, enjoy how pretty it is now, because that case is coming off. I shouldn't have to tell you to be careful with a razor blade, but for liability purposes, please don't cut yourself. Be careful. You're gonna wanna pry the casing apart at the seam to get inside of the electronics. The reason why I'm removing the casing from the thumb drive is because the casing is too big to fit inside of the Wii U. If you have a low profile USB, then you don't need to do this step. Have you never seen the inside of a USB thumb drive before? Well, this is it. That small chip is your memory controller and the larger chip is your memory. Well, not your memory, but the memory for the device. You know what I mean. Here are a couple close-up shots that I took of my USB thumb drive. I'm gonna need the female end of this USB connector in addition to a bare wire end which to solder to the USB port. I cut the mini USB connector off and tinned the wires. Keep in mind the red wire is our power wire, black is ground, and our white and green lines are transmission for data. The order that I'm soldering them would correspond to the reverse order of how they're arranged in the USB thumb drive. I've decided to solder the wires to the top USB port because the terminals are easier to access on the underside of the board. You can use whichever terminals you want, but just remember that whatever terminals you use, that USB port will be inaccessible. If you're wondering why, it's because you can't have 2 devices communicating through the same port, which is what we would be doing if we plugged in a USB device on the outside. Here's a look at that awful looking solder job. I swear I'm capable of better than this. I didn't film this next part, but you're gonna wanna route your cable through the inside of your Wii U. I used a metal file to make a hole in the fan shroud. There's a small amount of space between the fan and the PCB. You'll have to train your wires around the fan blades or else you're gonna hit the wire with your fan every time you turn on your Wii U system. By train, I mean position the wires in such a way that they stay in place. It doesn't mean teach your wires to roll over or play dead. At this time, insert the USB thumb drive firmly into the female USB outlet. Giggity. Next, we're going to wrap the USB device in electrical tape, and this serves 2 purposes. 1, it's to make sure that the USB device doesn't come out inside of our Wii U, and 2, it's to make sure that the USB thumb drive doesn't make contact with any metal inside of our case. It could result in short circuit and possibly damage to either the USB thumb drive or to the Wii U itself.
I chose to leave the LED activity light visible. This is so I know that the device is still working. And we're gonna tuck it in like a 12-year-old at a middle school dance. Just don't forget to wrap it up, okay? I'm talking about the USB port. I'm gonna cut the top with scissors and wrap the tape around the port itself. This is of course an optional step, but I went ahead and did it anyway just to remind myself in case I thought I could plug something else into the back. And we can put the whole system back together, put the top back on, and fire it up. When you turn on your Wii U for the first time, it's going to detect that there's a USB drive present, but it won't be able to read it. It'll ask you to format the drive, in which you want to click yes and allow the Wii U to format your thumb drive. If you've already stored games previously on another drive and you plug it in before turning on your system, the Wii U will detect two separate drives, in which case it'll take you to the data management section where you can transfer all of your files from your old drive to your new internal USB drive. Select all of the game files that you'll be moving over and then click move, and then you're going to tell it to move everything to USB storage device 2. While the transfer is happening, have yourself a well-deserved break. Get yourself a cup of coffee, read a book, I don't know, go get a college degree, preferably in electronics engineering. It's gonna be a while.
Thank you for watching this video, and if you enjoyed the content you see, make sure you hit that like button below and share the video. Join the ImmodderNation and get subscribed today by clicking on that subscribe button below. And when you do, click on the bell icon inside of that subscribe button to be notified the moment that I release new YouTube videos. You only need to click on it once so it looks like the bell is ringing. By the way, I'm releasing new YouTube videos every week. This week's gonna be a little bit crazy for the next video. So bear with me, it might not be 2 weeks until I do that. I'm actually working on a very special project. Maybe you guys will get to see it, maybe not. We'll see. Leave me a comment down in the comment section and let me know, what do you think about the USB mod? Do you think it's worth it to take your system apart just to install external storage internally? How difficult was it to take the Wii U apart? I mean, the thing's got a million different screws. You know, you need 2 different screwdrivers. Some people would say that this mod is not worth the hassle, and I have to agree with them. In some instances, it's not. But for me, I like to do things the hard way, and I like things to look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. You might notice that because I like to put lights in a lot of things, and I like shiny stuff and things that look cool. That's what this channel's all about. I kind of went off on a tangent there for a second. I digress. Also, let me know in the comment section if any of you own a Wii U and have expanded your storage, and how much external storage are you using? Are you using a terabyte? Are you using 100 gigabytes? Are you just using a 32 gigabyte thumb drive? Let me know in the comments section. I'd be curious to find out how much storage you guys really need. If you have any other comments or questions, of course, you can leave for me in the comments section below. As always, you can reach me by social media. I'm available via Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can catch me streaming every Friday and Saturday evening. On Fridays, I stream on Twitch and YouTube, and on Saturdays, I stream with fellow streamer Filthy Icon exclusively on Twitch. Make sure you check out the times to the right to find out what my current schedule is. And when you buy products from Amazon, make sure you use the affiliate link in the video description. Thanks again so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.